leap. So it's been just amazing. He's doing great.
लियो को बहुत एनर्जी आ गया है कल और आज, और मल्टीप्लिकेशन लीप यानी कि आगे बढ़े हैं, तो आज और कल बहुत अच्छा उनका तबीयत है और शरीर बढ़ रहा है.
His voice 2 days ago was very weak.
इसका जुबान 2-3 दिन पहले बहुत कमजोर था, अभी जुबान चल रहा है, आवाज अच्छा है.
And all of a sudden I'm telling him, quiet down, I can hear you.
अभी वो कह रही है कि धीरे से बोलो, मैं आपको सुन सकती हूँ.
Yes, so it's been a dramatic improvement in the past 2 days, which we thank God for.
अभी बहुत यानी कि आगे बढ़ रहे हैं उनका तबीयत, और भगवान को हम सारा शुक्र देते हैं.
But we missed you all.
लेकिन हम आपको बहुत मिस कर रहे थे.
We miss you too, Tiffany.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh.
और आपका प्रार्थना और आपका दिल और आपका प्यार हमें बहुत फीलिंग हुआ है. Honestly, मैं आपको कह भी नहीं सकता हूँ. I've told them about their love and their prayers and all that.
Yes, yes. Go ahead, Lily.
मैं इंग्लिश में बात करूँगा. यदि किसी को ट्रांसलेट करना है तो आप करिए. Like either Rashmi or Swati or Mukund or anybody who wants to translate. But I want to talk to you in English.
Please go ahead. We understand your English.
Everybody? I don't want to miss anybody because this is important. Okay. Anyway.
I understand his English very well.
On the 20th, I'm giving you a chronological report on my health. On the 29th of November, which was a Sunday, we attended church online because churches are closed, everything is closed, COVID. So we attended church online like we have been doing since March. And I was going to go to my sister's house to check out her basement. Basement is the area under the house. She has a whole basement, and we never ever went to her basement. Once she told me, have you seen my basement? And she's owned the house for a decade. So I said, no, and why would I want to see your basement? So she says, but you've never seen my basement. So I said, I don't have to see your basement. I don't want to go to your basement. Thank you very much. And I did not want to see your basement. But we are putting a house on the market. And I said, I'll go after church. I'm just going to go to my sister's house, I told Tiffany, and check out the basement. Because she said you can store all the stuff. And we're selling the house and we haven't bought a house. So we're going to be homeless for a while, which is not a big deal. But we want to take our time and find a nice house and the kind of house we want to have. And so we're not in a rush. So I said, let me go check out our basement so I can store some stuff. We're selling all the stuff, but some of the stuff we're not going to sell, some furniture. Most of the furniture we're going to sell, and we're going to store it. So I said, let me check out her basement. So she laughed. My sister laughed. I told you a long time. I said, I didn't need to see it. Now I want to see it. So she says, I'm going to charge you rent. So we had a little laugh and we've had some fun. After church, I started to shiver. Like my whole body started to shake. And, when you get the 24, 48-hour flu, that can happen. So that wasn't like, oh my God, I've never felt this. I felt the shivers before. So I said to Tiff, I said, you know what? I'm going to rest. I've got a 24-hour flu. I'm not going to Indy's house. So I snuck into bed at about noon about 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and I went to sleep. I was shaking, literally. I put the heat on high. I turned everything it was so hot that Tiff says, "Man, this is like the place is boiling." I said, you go sit in another room. We got 22 rooms. Go pick a room, pick a room. So I was lying in bed. And about 2 hours later, I felt like a little better, but I was like coughing and not feeling good. My eyes were watering and I was feeling a little uncomfortable. So I was like, this is the flu. Tiff called the doctor. Doctor said, hey, get a COVID test. So the next day, I felt a little bad, but not totally bad. So I drove to the hospital alone, waited for about 45 minutes in my car, got a test, came back home. And I left at I said I'll be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. By 9:30, I was home. 9:45, let's say 10 o'clock, I was home. That afternoon, I was messed up. I could not breathe properly. I was in trouble. It was like somebody held my head under the water for like a minute. And just as I was going to die, pulled it out. And then just as I felt a little better, pulled it back in, like 24 hours a day, like not nonstop. I was like, man, what is this? 2 days later, we got the results, COVID. Okay. And I was suffering 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then after about 4 or 5 days, I was so weak and I was so much in trouble that I would postpone going to the bathroom, which is about 10 steps, because I just was scared to go to the bathroom. Because once I go to the bathroom, I would cough and I would be like longer underwater feeling and suffocating and stuff like that. So it was like a very new feeling. I've never felt it before. And it was very distressing. But through it all, if I was not a person who believed in God, I've told you this, I've told my wife, I've told everybody around me, I'm not scared to die. We all have to die. And when your time is up, your time is up, you're done. And I've done a tremendous amount of fun things in my life. If it's time and God says you're out, I'm out, no problem. But through it all, for some reason, even though I was suffering like I've never suffered in my whole 69 years, I've never suffered like that, I never felt I was going to die. I felt like this is going to be okay, which is the weirdest thing that I can tell you, because everything looked like I should die, but I never thought about it. Never. It didn't even well, could this be it? No, never. It's such a beautiful feeling of invincibility that I cannot express. And you know what? I'll tell you something. Everybody who has communicated with me says, Leo, you're strong, you'll get through it. I am not strong. My God makes me strong. I'm not strong. I'm a weak, in fact, we're the weakest species. Go out into the jungle and you'll be dead in less than like a week. Some animal will take you. We're weaker than a 60-pound dog, okay? We can't run fast enough. We can't do anything. We're weak. So if you are strong, if I'm strong, it's God that gives us strength, okay? So if you say I'm strong, I accept it, but really, it's not me. So now this lasted for from the 30th afternoon till the 17th. 18 days of nonstop trauma. I can't say it was anything but trauma to me, obviously, and to Tiffany. Tiffany was an angel. And by the way, I want to tell you, talk about God making her strong. She's invincible. I had the COVID virus. I was contagious. She got nothing. How cool is that? If both of us came down with COVID, man, it would have been a mess. But she was not and is not. She's tested twice negative, no problems. I love it. We're blessed. We're blessed by God. And you know that. Some of you really know that. So now, on this, like, I am so angry with my hospital and my doctors. And we'll talk about that some other time. But I just want to focus on what I went through and to give you strength and to give you power that leave it to God and you're good. No matter what, you're good. So now, we'll talk about our hospital and our doctors later. But I was told that if I went to an emergency room, they'll put me in a hallway. How can you do that in America? Put somebody in a hallway. Well, they said we're overwhelmed, and they just hung up the phone. They wouldn't even talk to Tiffany. So I said, we got help. Dr. Doke
Yes.
is so, man, if you should all praise God that you have somebody like that in your organization to tap into. Have somebody like we do, all of you, who, even though you cannot give us professional help, you have sent us your prayers and your love. So Dr. Doke gave us prayers, love, Hema, all you people, but he gave Tiffany everyday advice on what to do. And we took his advice, and Tiff's brother is a surgeon. We took his advice, and they walked me through this hell, even though it was 24/7 hell. They walked me through from the 30th of November till the 17th. On the 17th of November,
Of December.
December, at about 6:30 in the evening, it gets dark at 4:30 in America because of winter. So it was dark. It would look like it was midnight, but it was about 6:30 in the evening. I told Tiff, listen, I'm in trouble. I need help. So she said, okay. So she called the Lawrence General Hospital. My hospital is the Leahy Clinic, a huge state-of-the-art facility. And I don't want to talk about them because I'm very angry. So she called the Lawrence General Hospital, which is supposed to be like, it's not such a good hospital. It's got a reputation of being like not so good. But that was a reputation like 15, 20 years ago. Now hospitals have bought each other up and raised standards. So I said, I'll go anywhere. I can't breathe. And my oxygen count went down to 79, 78, and it should be 94 plus. So she called Lawrence General. They said, bring him in. Do you have a room? Yep, bring him in. So she called the ambulance. Ambulance came. They put oxygen. Instant, like a light relief. I didn't feel strong. I was weak. My head was light, but I felt I could breathe, which is life. Breath is life. Instant relief. I said, but I would have small segments of peace in the 24 hours a day. Maybe like 3 times I'd have like 20 minutes of rest. So I said, okay. But I said, this is not going to last. This is just because I'm getting a little oxygen. It's going to come back, this nonsense. I went to the hospital, beautiful room, off the emergency room, my own, no sharing, no nothing. You figure in the emergency room, you might have to share. Nope. Had my own room, had beautiful, and not to look at, lovely nurses, fabulous doctors, even the person who took my blood, who's a phlebotomist, who just knows how to take blood, nothing else, was lovely, kind, caring, wonderful. And they all...
Except everybody who came into his room was wearing a mask.
Double
and a
mask,
hat.
double mask, visor, complete covering, and then a wrap,
A robe.
a robe with a wrap around it. So it was like they looked like a sausage, and it was like so much control. It was like a hazmat team,
Yeah.
right? Hazardous material, hazmat. So anyway, they come in, they take care of me. They say, "Are you doing okay?" La la la, Mr. Jasudi. And I said, Leo. So they were very nice. Then they transferred me to a room, and every human that I interacted with was not only professional, was qualified, was caring and kind. There was one woman who irritated me, just one. She was a registered nurse. She was not an orderly. She was not a nurse's aide. She was not anybody else. She was a real registered nurse. And the irritation was not anything got to do with her professionalism, or she just said everything she was going to do, which was like, and now I'm going to do this, and oops, I did this, and I'm going to do. She kept repeating everything she did, and I was like, please stop talking. So that was the only negative, and that's nothing, because she was a professional, she did her job well, and she took care of me really, really, really grade A. Now, the head of the CDC, which is this Center for Disease Control in the United States, it's in the head of the CDC in that hospital. It was a doctor, an infectious disease specialist called Dr. Sirani. And Dr. Sirani came and he said, you got a bad case. So I said, how am I doing though? He said, I can't commit yet, but your color is coming back, and you're responding in the last 2 days. So, but it's going to take a while. I said, I don't have a problem. I'm not in a rush. So he says, okay. He says, I'm going to so they put me on remdesivir. They put me on dexamethasone, which is a steroid, which spiked my blood to 451, my blood sugar to 451, and it should be like 100. So then they gave me insulin. I got so many needles every day that it doesn't matter. When they came in, I'm like, knock yourself out, poke me wherever you want. I had so many needles. And then I had needles in my stomach, in my arm, just on and on, in my forehand. And anyway, so they gave me insulin, and then they gave me 3 liters of oxygen. 2 liters is like the minimum. They gave me 3. And then I was stabilizing. Now I could walk to the bathroom and come back and not feel like I might fall, or I don't want to like be in stress. When I came back, I had to lie down and relax, but at least I could do that. So I shaved, I brushed my teeth every day, even if I didn't want to go to the bathroom. I'm a clean person, so I did all of that. I suffered, and I did it even at home. But now I was like, I can do it. And I couldn't take a shower because I had so many tubes. So I would take a sponge bath, and they had just the state-of-the-art stuff. So I looked after myself. I was clean. I felt nice. And after I had a 5-day program on remdesivir, but on the 4th day, my physicians came. Her name was Anita Ash. Now here's what's funny about Anita Ash. Anita Ash, real professional, very smart, spoke clearly, and I followed everything she said. There was never a point where, excuse me, what are you saying? No, I understood everything she was saying. Very smart woman, but she didn't look like a doctor. She looked like she had her hair done. She had a short skirt. She had nylons, high heels. bling, bling, bling. She didn't look like a doctor. So she spoke like a doctor. She acted like a doctor very professionally. But to look at, she looked like a party girl. It was the funniest thing. So I would look
that's
at.
to inspire the male patients to get better.
Okay. No, but it was really funny. It was kind of cool. So this woman said to me, said to the nurse, drop his oxygen to 2. So I said, hey, don't do that. I'm just feeling so nice. She says, Leo, relax. Drop his oxygen to 2. I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go backwards. I was mentally hooked. I was an addict. I wanted that oxygen because it was my sweetness. And she's taken a whole liter away. That's like, now I'm dropped down to 2 liters. I mean, that's 50% less. Yeah. So anyway, she took it down. I was feeling fine. She came back in the evening. She said, how you doing? I said, oh, I was scared when you said drop it down to 2, but doc, I'm doing fine. She says, Leo, great. Then she called the nurse in and she said, take him off oxygen. I said, no, please. Now you're getting too aggressive. She said, listen, relax. We'll put you back on if we have an issue. Take him off. So she took me off. I was fine. My oxygen level was at 96 without oxygen. I'm like, this is day number 3. So I was like, wow, this is good. So in the morning, she said, okay, I want you to do your shower, shave, whatever you do. And then I want you to walk up and down this room 5 times from the window to the door back, because you're a COVID patient, you can't leave the hospital. From the window to the door, to the window to the door, I want you to walk 5 round trips. I said, oh man, because I never done that. It was like, Sharad will tell you, like, the first time you go to, the base camp of Mount Everest, you're like, I've never done this before. So I was like, oh man. So I walked 5 times, sat down, they took my oxygen level, they took everything. I was fine. 94 to 96. After walking 5 round trips, no oxygen. So she says to me, good. The next day she comes, she says, hey. And she talked like professionally, but like she talked like she was my friend, not like a doctor. She said, hey, Leo. I said, what? Now what? She says, you want to go home? I said, but I still have 1 day of remdesivir. She said, do you want to go home? I said, that's music to my ears. I want to go home because I'm not on oxygen. I'm not on anything. She says, we'll give you still have to be on insulin, but we'll transfer it from the injection to an oral tablet. I said, okay. She sent me home. Every day I've been getting better. And today you see me. I still weigh very little. I'm thin. I only weigh 150 pounds, but I am on. And that would give you strength. Don't be scared of COVID. Don't get it. You don't want to get it. But you know what? If you get it, you will overcome it. Just have peace in your heart that God is in charge. And like a priest, a pastor, a religious man said to me once, I said, why, if we believe in God, I asked him a question. Why, if we believe in God, why, if we know that heaven is better than earth, do we pray for people who are sick to get better? Why can't they just go? And he says, that's the humanity in us. But really, death is the best solution. It is healing because your body is no longer holding you down. So with that, I say, don't fear death. Don't fear COVID. Let's live. this year you all are going to get vaccinated. I don't need a vaccination because I've been told I can't give it or get it. I'm immune. But the government has very rare cases where people got COVID in March and they got it back in September. Like literally a handful of cases in 30 million, which is such a slight amount. It's less than getting hit by lightning, but it's still there. So they can't say that I'm immune for more than 3 months. So here's the scoop. I'm immune. So the doctor said, don't get a vaccine. Let all the other people get a vaccine. Stop cutting the line. Let them get a vaccine. You're fine. When everybody gets vaccinated, then you can get a vaccination, only because we can't guarantee that you won't get it. So then you get a vaccination. So I'm good till April. I can't get it or give it. And I think I'm good for a year, but they're only 1 year of history. Well, actually, there's only 12 months of history and 9 months of history. So I'm good. But if ever the doctor suggests I will get a vaccination in April, Tiff will get a vaccination earlier. But I think that all of you will have a vaccination within the next 3 to 6 months. And I want to tell you, empower you. God is good. We're good. You're good. Love you very much. Go ahead.
That's very sweet. Oh, man. We had some scary times, but another huge thank you to Dr. Doke. Oh, my goodness. What
Amazing.
support. Just amazing support. And we reached out. He reached out because sometimes I was just offline a little bit. Very scary times for me. I have a lot of faith in God, and but when my husband is sick, very emotional. So Dr. Doke has seen me at my rawest emotional state, and he was a great support and helped us through. Encouraged us to get Leo to the hospital sooner, but we were having trouble with that. But finally, we found a way. And I think, Dr. Doke, you were the most relieved when we finally got Leo. Yes. So,
Well, Dr. Doke wanted me to go to the hospital 10 days before I went.
yes.
So, it was, but I blame my hospital, and maybe someday when I'm in India, we'll talk about how angry I am with the Leahy Clinic and that humongous multi-billion-dollar hospital.
Well, but like Leo says, don't be scared of COVID to a point where you're so fearful that you're paralyzed. The majority of people that get it have very minor symptoms and they just deal with it at home. Leo had a severe case, so he's telling you things that sound very scary, and they were very scary, but most people won't have what he had.
What happened?
Okay. Oh, we lost the screen here. Didn't know if we were on or not. So, and we learned, as Dr. Doke will recommend, that if you do come down with symptoms, get tested right away and get treatment right away. At the hospital, they said, when we give you remdesivir, which is a drug, that it works very well in the beginning phases.
Yes.
So yes, so don't let it paralyze you, though. I mean, look at the two extremes. Leo had a severe case, and I very exposed to Leo, very exposed. Before he was diagnosed, and even after he was diagnosed, I was nursing him. So I was in his room. And I didn't come down with COVID at all. So two extremes, but don't let it paralyze you and don't be so scared. The majority of people do very well with it. Okay, so now let's move on to you and your business.
Or ask me some questions, and so the next time we meet, which is next Monday, we're done with COVID. I don't want to talk about it. I think I've told everybody, and anybody who hasn't attended, you guys can tell them, well, we're not going to talk about it. I'm not going to take any questions. Let's move on. When we meet, we can talk, about various things. But I'm done. This is a new year. Oh, I have some good news. Today, we're going to get an offer for our house for the full price.
Hope so.
Yeah, that's what they say. So this is good news. We're going to have a complete change in lifestyle, in direction, but we're going to focus on all the business, all the people. We're committed to helping people, not only in this business, but my other businesses. But in this business, it's not just helping. It's really sinking your love, your caring, and your true mind, body, and soul into a human's life. That's the difference. And if you guys, any of you, now we're talking about the Amway business, no other business on earth, the Amway business. If you are struggling, you are not putting the right heart into another human's life. Now, 99% of the humans will let you down. But that has nothing to do with you. That has to do with them. You see, let me give you a simple example that just popped in my mind. If somebody lies to you, is it okay for you to lie to them?
No.
So if somebody treats you poorly, it's not okay for you to start treating people poorly at all, ever. And if you treat people poorly, it is, I was arrogant, I told you, and we're all trying every day. It's not something that like just, one day I decide and then boom, I'm like different. It takes years to undo what has taken years to do. And your character is built over years. And if there is a flaw in your character and you want to change it, it's going to take some time. Okay? Impatience is immaturity. If somebody wants to make money fast, they're impatient, they're immature. Okay? If somebody wants to build a house fast, they're impatient, they're immature. If somebody wants to graduate from high school fast, they're immature and impatient. So don't be impatient, take your time, but make strides every day, or at least try to. So if you treat people correctly, or you try to treat people correctly, one day you'll reach a level where your business is going to change like that. And things are going to explode because your heart, your mind, and your mouth are working synchronized. Synchronized. They're in the music business, we say they're reading the same sheet music. Sheet music is written music. When everybody has the same sheet music and are singing and playing instruments, it's beautiful. If I have different sheet music, you have different sheet music, it doesn't matter how good musicians are, the sound is no good. If your mind and your mouth and your heart are reading the same good sheet music, it'll be awesome.
They asked Dexter Yeager no, they didn't ask Dexter Yeager. Anybody who worked directly with Dexter Yeager will say that the reason why he was so successful is because he loved people very well. And when we think about love, it means he had patience with people. It means that he believed they could build a business even if the person themselves didn't believe they could build the business. And it means that, you know, if you're a teacher, the people you're teaching don't know as much as you. So there's sometimes where the student misbehaves a little bit and has the wrong opinion about the teacher. He overlooked all of that because he was emotionally very mature, and love covered everything. Even Bill Britt,
We
he
were at
came-
that meeting.
He came and it was an Emeralds meeting, and
Emerald and
usually
above.
Emerald and above. Usually we didn't have access to Bill Britt because Yeager and Britt were separate. But Bill Britt was invited to this meeting, and he was always kind of in competition with Dexter. But in this event, on stage, he said, the reason why.
No, he said, turn off the cameras because I don't want this recorded. And so everything went off.
And he said the reason why Dexter has the biggest business on the planet is because he has the ability to love. And he said, I don't have that. So
He said one thing that was very critical. He said, when Dexter sponsored me, I said to myself, I'm going to show this guy.
this guy, Britt, very educated, and
He
Dexter,
had 2 master's degrees, and he was the like the mayor of a town. In a town, they call it town manager, but the town manager is exactly like the mayor. And he was the mayor of a town in North Carolina. And when Dexter sponsored him one in depth under this guy who was a cook. Bill Britt's sponsor was a cook in a restaurant. So he sponsored Bill Britt. And when Bill Britt joined, he said, I'm going to show this guy. This guy don't know nothing. I know.
because Dexter's, he had a high school education.
Yeah, but Dexter was, IQ was so high that he didn't want to go to college because he considered it a waste of time, which is true because, Dexter used to advise people with doctorates on various issues, not just money, not just investments, not just how to run a business and build an organization, but on amazing things politically. Ronald Reagan became the president the 3rd time he ran, and he became the president because of Dexter Yeager. Nobody else. Okay? And he admitted to it because he came and spoke to us. But after he left the White House. But Dexter was a brilliant guy who didn't need a college education. Very much, all of us need a college education to be reasonably intelligent. Some people don't need one. Like Ramanujan, the mathematician. That guy went from like learning under a lamp on a street to going to do his PhD in Oxford University like that. So some people don't need that. They're brilliant without a formal education. So Bill Britt said that from the time I joined, I said, I'll show this guy. And Dexter, when you meet him, he doesn't look like a guy who can move the world. He does not. Whatever we think of, he doesn't look like a guy who can move the world, but he is dead for almost 2 years. In February, he'll be 2 years dead, and he's moving the world still.
Yes.
So think about what I'm saying. So this guy, Britt, sees Dexter. He's short, he was overweight, he was fat, he was bald. He's like, I'll show this guy. Well, after 35 years, comes on stage and he puts off all the cameras and he says, I've been competing with Dexter since I joined. And I said I was going to pass him. He says, in front of you, I'm telling you, I give up. He's the master. And that was so humble. And that was most probably Bill Britt's shining hour because Bill Britt was not a humble man. He was confident. He was arrogant.
Smart.
In fact, he told us stories, Dexter told us stories. They were both on stage together laughing and telling stories. And Dexter said one guy came to the meeting and he started talking rubbish. Bill Britt hit him.
Oh, gosh. Hey.
So it was like, that's how crazy Bill Britt was, when he first joined. He hit a prospect who said something about, this thing won't work. So that's how crazy Bill Britt was.
Don't do that.
No, of course they're not going to do that. Come on. I mean, we got mature people, loving people. But what I'm saying is this guy was nuts. And that was his most humble moment when he came and said, in front of you, I give up. He's the master. And the reason why is he can love people that are unlovable. I can't do that. And so my respect for Bill Britt went through the roof. And your respect for Bill Britt and how big his business is, okay? He's another guy who died a few years ago, and look how big his business is still. So we're in the right spot. Believe, never doubt. The devil puts doubt in your mind. Never doubt. And the doubt is not whether the business works, because that you cannot doubt. It's so logical. You cannot, and there's so much proof. The doubt is, I don't think it's going to happen for me. I don't think I can do it. I've done so much and nothing's happening. That is the worst. And that's the devil. That's not a human being. That's a planted thought in your head to keep you from succeeding. Flush it. Because you know something? We're Christians. We've got a few Christians like Venus and a couple of other people in the room. But God says, the devil is stronger than you. You cannot win. You come to me and you have the right to just tell him to leave, and he has to leave. But you have to tell him to leave. So when you get these stupid thoughts in your head, it's the devil trying to screw with you. Just tell him to leave. Because you're with God. If you're not with God, you can tell him all you want. You're going to choke. Okay? Now, the devil also helps people succeed. Why? He helps people who don't believe in God succeed, so that the people who believe in God go, there's no God. If you're not strong, you're like, Arey, that guy is like the worst. He's a criminal, and look how nicely he lives. He flies all over in his own private jet. He has a yacht. He has beautiful houses. He's got money. There couldn't be a God, because the devil allows that person to win, to mess with the people who are shaky in their beliefs. So never shake your belief in God. Have faith, believe in yourselves, and you can, if you're aligned with God, you can just tell the devil, leave. And the devil has to leave unless you're not aligned with God.
Leo is spewing brilliance. He didn't lose it, did he?
Okay, I have a confession to make. My wife, every time I make a mistake, she says, I think COVID has affected your head, my mind. And so now I'm screwed. Anytime I make a mistake, it's like COVID. And I have nowhere to go. I have no argument. I don't have I cannot say anything. I'm like Guru Dev, Anyway, so we're having fun. We're back on track. I'm not 100%, but man, I'm so happy. New year, a house is going to get in a contract today. They're talking to their bank and their lawyers and all that stuff. So that's all good stuff. And 2021 is going to be good. I've been spared my life still on earth. I've got things to do. And I got good news for you. Part of the things I have to do is you.
Yes.
You have me in your corner.
Yes.
You have me in your corner.
Yes.
Let's not waste time.
You have me in your corner too. So,
Okay, we're toning it down.
Who's going to who will Translate for me. Swati! Oh, my companion, Swati, the best translator ever. Okay, ready, Swati?
Yeah, but I think let's start because most of them understand, and you have spoken English, both of you, right now. So no one asked you to speak in Hindi. So let's see what's the reaction from the audience. And then, if
Okay.
needed, I'll
And
translate.
you started talking Indian English, so don't worry. Go ahead.
Do you want to ask everybody now? Now, is there
No,
anybody?
no, no. Just keep talking.
Okay.
Wasting time.
All right. So New Year's is a great time to just kind of draw a line and reset, realign, and focus. So it's just we can do this any day of the year, but this time of the year seems very nice just to realign our goals and hit the reset button. Anything in 2020 that was a bad habit, we should release and establish better habits in 2021. So I wanted to help a little bit with that and give you some pointers for how to do that reset and how to realign and then how to focus. And Dr. Doke, he said, could we do like a woman's session? And my feeling on the woman's session is that it's very good,
But the men need to hear.
but Leo and I have never had a defined role. So because you're a woman, this is your job. And because I'm a man, this is my job. I think we're unique in that way. And perhaps it's because I'm a business person. So I'm very oriented to being active in business. I never did have children, so in that way, we're much different from the rest of the population. But I think it's a good idea for you too to not have a typical woman's role and a man's role, because men power this business up and they go diamond and beyond, but women also power this business up and they go diamond and beyond.
How about the crown, Kim?
Yep.
This
That-
woman, her husband was an artist. She went from zero to crown ambassador in 14 years. Zero. All her. Her husband was an artist. The guy would come on stage and he'd say 3 words. And he was a lovely man. I don't want to make fun of him, but that was what he did. He giggled and
No,
said
he-
3 words, but he was a lovely guy, but he was an artist. He's not a businessman. He used to do art.
He didn't build the business.
Nothing.
She did it 100%. So in my mind, I don't categorize the woman's role and the man's role.
And by the way, she was Korean, and it's a traditional family where the men are just like in India. The women often take a back seat in Korea. But in India, there are some women who don't take a back seat. And I see a lot over here who don't take a back seat. So there's no reason, like Tiff says, for us to pamper or treat women differently. I treat everybody the same. And let's do that. Now, it's a little difficult for a woman to prospect a man in India. Unless you're
Anywhere.
moving in professional circles and everybody has like advanced degrees. If you're moving in a professional circle, men and women are okay, in the boardroom, in the office, in upper management, there's no problem. In fact, there are women running the biggest bank is run by a woman, I'm given to understand, right? The big bank,
State Bank of
Yeah.
India.
right? So, there's a lot of women who are like, they just go. But the average woman is a little uncomfortable prospecting a man. fine. Especially in our business where we don't have an office, we don't have a conference room, we don't have a structure. So then you look like you're trying to come on to a man. And in India, like that's not a good thing. So maybe it's changing for the 25-year-olds, but not for our category. So yes, I understand. But listen, man, do you think it was easy for a woman or a man to build this business anyway? If it was like so easy, all the men would be crown ambassadors. So it's hard for everybody. So don't hide behind your womanhood or your manhood or your business or your schedule, or like I have to spend time with the family. Hey, you go diamond man, spend all the time with your family and give your family a real life. Okay? So don't hide behind the things that are so easy to hide behind. You know, there are 9. I used to say this when I first came to India in 1997, pre-launch. I used to say there's 10,000 reasons for you not to do something. And there's one reason for you to do it. Are you going to do it or take the 10,000 reasons not to? That's all. And that's always the case, whether you go to school, whether you go to college, whether you get a job, there's 10,000 reasons not to. There's only one reason to. Same with Amway. There's only one reason to. And what's the one reason to do Amway? Liberty.
Yes.
Liberty is a cut above freedom.
He is exactly talking about where I wanted to go, and we didn't talk. So that is a place to start 2021. Like, what is it? Have you ever thought about seriously, what is it that you can find in this business that you can't find without the business? And Leo's word liberty, that's it. That's it exactly. There's a freedom that you can find here that you can't find anywhere else. And we hope that you can believe us, because we've been traditional business owners, still are. We still have a traditional business outside of the Amway business. And it's profitable. We've taken advice from Upline, from Jeff Yeager. It's like,
From Dexter.
yeah, if you have a profitable concern, like, don't let that go. They have multiple businesses, but the one where they focus the most time and energy is this business.
And the reason
So-
is pretty simple. They focus on this business because this business gave them all the other businesses, and they have investments in 200 companies. They have major investments, not like minor. Like, okay, I'll give you $1 million for that $10 million company. Give me 10%. No, 200 companies. But it came from this.
Yes.
Everything came from this. So they respect the root. Okay?
Yes.
So if they respect the root, come on, who are we to challenge?
Yep. So I want you, here's an assignment. I want you to write down on a piece of paper what this business can bring to you personally, to your life, to your family, that you can't find anywhere else. Really, I hope that you will do that, not just listen to this and don't do. I hope that you'll take some time and do it, and write 2021 at the top of that page. And the first thing under 2021 is the answer to that question. That will help you. If you're struggling, you need to get the head going in the right direction. And part of that has to do with definition of you, your life, what you want, and how this business can help you achieve that. Because without that, what are we doing in this business?
And what I want you to do, I just moving with Tiffany's words, because Tiffany's words are golden right now. don't, you've heard her, you've heard me. It's very easy to like, yeah. No, these are golden words. Write down and make it personal. Don't look sideways. Don't look at your husband. Don't look at your wife. Don't look at your children. Make it just yours. What she's saying is write down the things that you can get from this business that you can't get from anywhere else for you. And then don't get crazy like, oh, I want a helicopter.
No, let me go. So that's my part 2. After you've answered that question, then part 2 is now we have to think about dreams and we have to think about passions. So let's start with passions. Most people never define their passions and therefore they live an unfulfilled life. But now we've had such training and such encouragement to think a different way. We have to think about our passions. So these are things that are very important to you.
To no one else.
To no one else. And it's tied in to your purpose. We believe that everybody is put on earth for a specific purpose. And God implants passions into you, which are an inkling of to what your purpose is. How did they like that word inkling, Swati?
Soch. Sochna. Sochna.
So what makes you exceedingly happy? What makes you so joyful? Write that down on your piece of paper. So you've got 2021, what this business will bring that you can't find anywhere else, and then your passions. So what makes you joyous and happy? And same thing.
For example, travel. For example, a fine house, not maybe the best house, not maybe the biggest house, but a fine house in a good area that you have joy.
I'm going in a different direction on this one.
Passion.
So a passion might be spending time with family.
Right.
A passion might be something significant with volunteering or giving to somebody else. A passion might be a ability to teach, and you get so much joy out of teaching. A passion might be making people look beautiful, and you get so much joy out of that. So what is it that brings you a lot of joy?
It could be music.
Maybe it's helping children. Maybe it's helping the disabled. Maybe it's music. What is it? Figure it out for you personally. What brings you a lot of joy? Write that down.
And it does not have to make money, because then it's not a passion.
Right.
The passion, if it makes money, great. But if it doesn't make money, who cares? It's your passion.
And at the same time, next line, write down what makes you cry or so sad. We're looking for emotions. Like one emotion is joy. The opposite emotion is sadness, crying. What is it? You know, when I'll give you a personal example about things that make me cry. It's when
She doesn't cry.
Dr. Doke may know differently after the past 20 days. I do have emotions, but
She's tough. What I meant was she's tough.
For me personally, when I think about older people who are at the end of their life, when they don't have a support system, that makes me cry. See, just thinking about it, I get a little teary. So that's a passion. That's a passion. What is it? What can you find in your life that really evokes some emotion? And whatever is evoking that emotion, maybe it's anger. We don't like to see people treated unfairly. We don't like to see injustice. It makes us so angry. I'll tell you something that makes me really, really angry is when a new person that has just joined this business is taking advice from somebody who's been unsuccessful in their life, and particularly unsuccessful running this business. And that person quits the business. I am so angry at the person who was the disruptor, who messed it all up for the person who was trying to lead a better life. And I'm also angry at the person who didn't seek help and overcome that by asking somebody stronger in the business, here's what's going on. What are they telling me? That makes me really angry. So these are passions. Maybe that's a good indication that we were like, it's our mission to build this business and to help people to think differently and do differently and have a better life. So write these things down. Anything that evokes intense emotions, what is it? Write them down. And then, so after passions, now on our sheet of paper, now we're going to write down dreams. I am such a supporter of dreams because it was something that I was the worst at when we began the business, but hearing it over and over and over again, that it's important to have a dream, I dared to dream, and now I'm good at it. So thanks to the business and thanks to the help from Upline and attending conferences and reading books and listening to audios. So the dreams would be things. And that's what Leo was talking about, things. So a good question to ask yourself concerning dreams is, what are some things that if I don't have them in my life won't be complete? So for me,
They have to be out of reach.
yeah, a little out of reach. Travel has been one of those things for me. And I think travel gives one the best education that one can ever get. It enables you to know people globally and really understand that there's many different cultures and many different ways. But bottom line is, we all have the same desires at the root. We all need safety. We all need love. We all need relationships. So yeah, travel is something that you may put on your list. What is it? What's a thing? Is it cars? Is it boats? Is it airplanes? Is it just being around people who are like-minded, who think the way that you would be thinking? And
I know what is it. I know what it is for the Indian women, like a 5 lakh sari. A sari for 5 lakhs. That's like a dead, give me that. See, Hema is laughing, Swati is laughing. Rashmi says, that sounds very good.
Yeah, but try to find things that are extremely important to you. Truly, things that if you don't have these things, then life won't be complete. Maybe it's time, but write these things down. Write them down. They told us to write down dreams. And I still have these sheets. I put them away in my drawer where I keep my scarves and things. So in this drawer, I've got sheets that are 20 years old. And I can pull out a sheet and look at it and see my dreams then. And so many things have been crossed off. I might not have looked at that list in 20 years, but I wrote it down 20 years ago. It recircuited the brain, and now we find that those things have been accomplished. So these are just some little steps that will help you a lot to define what you're doing, why it's important to you. And now, once you've done all of that, you have to sit down with your mentor, your coach, And it's difficult to expose yourself to your coach, but I hope you will. Your coach should be somebody that you know won't criticize you.
They will correct you, but not criticize you.
They'll never correct you with like, that dream is stupid.
No.
They might say something like, okay, but that you can get with your existing income. Now think higher, dream bigger. They may do that, but they would never say to you, that's silly. I mean, I can't believe you're thinking that way. The world will say that to you, but your coach, your mentor in this business will never, ever do that. Never. And choose somebody minimum platinum level, because that person has been coached and you will have a very good experience when you just sit down with that person and dare to expose this path. Like, could you share your piece of paper with them? Could you share with them what this business will bring you that nothing else will? Could you share with them what your passions are? And could you share with them what your dreams are? And your coach, your mentor, will ask you, when would you like this? And they'll help you establish a timeline. Once the timeline is established, they will help you to lay out the work that you must do.
It's just work.
It's just work.
It's just work.
It is only work. The reason why people don't succeed in this business is lack of activity.
And the lack of activity is they don't have supervision.
And
You know, the saddest thing on earth that you find out when you join the Amway business is that very successful people need supervision because they're successful in the industry. They come in this business and they fail. It's only work. You have like a few steps to test, 8-step pattern. What's the big deal? You can learn the 8-step pattern in 2 weeks, and then you can brush up, and in 6 months you could be good at it. So why wouldn't you do the 8-step pattern to have liberty? Liberty is the ultimate source of freedom because you don't have supervision. You reject supervision. So you realize that 99% of the people on earth need supervision. And that's your problem and that's my problem in this business. Because I don't need supervision, but I'm sponsoring people that need supervision. And I'm like confused. I'm like, why can't these people just do what's good for them and their families and their future generations? Who knows?
well, there's a big difference though between a coach and a mentor and a boss. Your coach, your mentor, they are not your boss. They're an advisor to you. They've been where you want to go, and they will help you understand the work that needs to go in to meet your timeline. You set the timeline though. The coach doesn't, the mentor doesn't. You are setting your desires and your timeline, and the coach and the mentor says, okay, here's the strategy. So they're not your boss. We don't have a situation where the coach, the mentor says, you know, this is what you need to do, and you don't do it. The coach and mentor won't fire you, but next time you come to them and say the business isn't working, they'll say, well, let's review. Now, were you able to get this done? So they're going to stretch you. They will stretch you, meaning that it should be something that is attainable, but you're going to have to stretch. But this whole atmosphere, the environment of the business, you should feel extremely supported and extremely, extremely blessed to have somebody who's looking after you in a great way. And you are building your business for you and your family. It's an individual thing, but you're not alone. It's just like I've never encountered COVID before, and I've never seen my husband so sick. But to have Dr. Doke as an advisor was so comforting. So comforting. This is what you'll receive through the coaching and through the mentorship. So for 2021 now, once you receive that strategy, you should be willing to put in the work because now you understand how important it is to you. And once you put in that work consistently, you will develop habits. And once the habits are developed, it'll become so much easier for you. Once the habits are developed, you'll find it not to be bothersome or a chore to do everything you have to do to bring in your current source of income. Plus this, you'll have the habits established, and then you'll be building and seeing results. Once the results happen, you'll become on fire. You'll become so charismatic, so electric that people want to know what you're doing. And it escalates. It just gets better and better and better. Dexter used to call that the magic. So only when you have habits established and you're consistent with them does the magic come. And once the magic comes, now we just need time to accomplish what you want from the business. So I hope you just take it very seriously, that you will implement. Really get that piece of paper going. You need it. And then sit down with your advisor. It's time. It's really time to do this. You know, when things like what just happened to us happen, plus our age, we look back and we say, wow, we probably should have just been a little more persistent and consistent with certain things in our lives. So don't let that happen. You get older and then it's too late. But we love you all. We really want to see you achieve in a big, huge way. 2021, we'll have the vaccination. We won't be so secluded. Hopefully, the world will be looking different. Everything will be over as far as this COVID thing goes. We hope, we hope. And we really, really are looking forward to seeing you achieve. Man, that's a passion of ours. And it's exciting to see little achievements. We get announcements with who is reaching different levels, 3%, 6%, 9%, and who is converting from the initial, oh, somebody help me because you've got different terminology. Is
ADR to ADS.
Yes, ADR to ADS. We get announcements, we're aware, and it excites us every time we see those postings. We want to know you, we care about you, love you a lot, and we're with you all the way. Any support we can give, we want to give it for sure.
All right. We took a little longer, but we're done.
After COVID, you are more sharper, both of you.
Oh, Sharad,
And,
isn't
and
it
Tiffany, you
true?
remember now
Struggle.
our task.
Say again?
You remember our task. We both decided.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes.
It will help a lot.
लक्षात नहीं है शायद, I'm telling you.
Does everybody want to wrap up like Hema, Sanjay, Shuvarna, and you know, Mukund and Swati? I guess let's wrap it up because it's getting late for you guys.
Hello, Leo. Happy New Year to you and Tiffany. Sanjay,
Thank you.
Yeah, Sanjay was telling me Leo will be all right and he will continue the session in first week of January. So, so it's our belief, and God bless you both. I am very, right now I'm emotional. We are blessed to part of your organization. Thank you, God. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's a passion, Hema.
Love it. Love it.
Leo and Tiffany, you have done a great job today, and you have instilled the confidence which we were looking forward to. And Leo, you just survived a very sharp edge thing. You didn't go into an ICU, which I was dreading would happen. But that did not happen because I think Tiffany took good care of you in the house itself. For those 10 days, she was really, really on her toes. She was not sleeping in the nights. And she has really cared for you, and you both make a good team.
Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Thank you so much, Sanjay.
The nurse was coached by the doctor.
Thank you.
But my one word to Sanjay Doke is one word: invaluable.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo and Tiffany. You were great today. We all were eager to see you both. Thank you, and thank God for everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, both of you. But the thanks to God, and we would like to say thank to Indy also, because we were in touch with her and she was giving all the details to us. So thanks a lot. And we realized the love between you and Indy, Leo, at that time, how the siblings should be, that myself and Mukund had when we were talking with her, and all other minute details she gave about you. And we are really blessed to be both of you. We love you, and we are really happy, and happy new year to all of us, because you are with us. Thank you. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Happy New Year
Love
to
you
all of you.
too.
Today, really, we
Thank you.
realized this is the Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you very much.
Hey, Deepak.
Yes, Leo, you are great. And you have shown us what a leadership is. Again, you are with a strong voice, with the same confidence you are there. Because I know in my family, I have seen the COVID patient. I have lost one of them. But what a tragedy, what the real inside feeling is there that I have seen very closely. So we pray God for you, and God has given us a best prize. It's the best gift again. Really, Leo, we are very much thankful to God and Tiffany, both of you. Really, God is there. We believe definitely. We were praying from the bottom of our heart. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you.
And the
Thank you.
prayers, prayers are so important. They work.
Thank you, Leo.
They work.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night,
Thank
Leo.
you so much, and good
Thank you.
night, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Leo uncle.
Hey, Tosha, thank you. Nice to see you. God bless
Yes,
you.
I love you so much. I'm so
Aw.
happy to see you both after such a long time. I can't tell you.
I know,
good.
but I'm happy to be back.
I
And
just want to come
like
there.
I
I just
told
want
all
to
my
hug you
friends,
tight. I really want to hug you tight.
Oh.
I can feel it. I can feel it. And
Virtual hug.
what I tell my friends is, you can't get rid of me yet.
We don't want to.
No, I mean, that's like a joke. Oh, there's the baby. Look at that. Oh, give that baby a kiss for me.
Aw.